Uh, Good morning, friends. We welcome
Sorry,
Dr. Anup
मेरी
Saru.
image
Hello. Good morning, friends.
very good morning.
Let's
Maithili
use
ji,
this
very good morning.
opportunity to welcome. Good morning, friends. Let's take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Anup Saru, founding vice chancellor of Jawaharlal
Yes, please.
Jagran Lake University, and it is a long introduction to really introduce my friend Dr. Anup Saru. He is having so many degrees. He is a MSc and he is a first position and gold medalist. He is MSc in high MBA with the AGSC Australia, MPhil, PhD, PSc, FZSI, FAB, FWBI, FRSA, etc., from London. He is having unique distinction, being a founding vice chancellor of Jagran Lake University. He is a recipient of the presidential award, that is in 2003. Professor Anup Sarup has been distinguished professional experience with a diverse role as a educationist, as a poet, as a peace activist, life scientist, futurist, social entrepreneur, and a civil servant. With the Indian Civil Service, Indian Revenue Service of 85 batch, and served in very senior positions. He was appointed as United Nations representative with the UNSC at New York by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in 2007. He is a recipient of Hiroshima Peace Award in 2016, highest award of recognition by Soka University, Tokyo in 2016, honorary doctorate by George Washington University of Peace, Fellow Royal Society of Art, London, FRSA, a global environment outlook reviewer with intergovernmental panel on climate change. Incidentally, the same organization is responsible for awarding Nobel Peace Prize also. So I am finding there are so many things. If I will keep on introducing, probably whole session will be required to introduce the personality like Dr. Anup Sarup. So I am limiting introduction to this level only, and I think we would like to take the session forward. So I heartily welcome my friend Dr. Anup Sarup. आपका क्राइम फ्री भारत के प्लेटफॉर्म पर बहुत जोर से स्वागत है. नमस्कार.
नमस्कार, आप सबका अभिनंदन, अभिवादन. Or it should be a good morning, so let me wish a good morning to everybody there. And really nice to talk to you, my great friend Maithili Shananji.
Thank you. अनूप जी, आज का जो चर्चा
There is a slight echo in our voice. Is it okay with you? I don't know. I'm getting some echo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Why it is so? एक मिनट, let me see. Just a minute. I think now it should be okay. Is that right?
Now it is okay.
Is there any improvement?
Better.
Yeah. Basically, you were on parallel call that
Yes,
was
somewhat
responsible
better.
for this echo. I feel connectivity at your end is really,
your voice has
really
become
slow.
very faint.
Pardon
Yeah,
me?
because the voice is very faint now. I don't know why. Your
Is
voice
it
is very
better?
faint. आपकी आवाज बहुत धीमी आ रही है.
नहीं, अब इम्प्रूव हुई है क्या?
नहीं, उसका वॉल्यूम बहुत थोड़ा इंक्रीज करना होगा.
अच्छा. I cannot really help it now.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, I feel there's some connectivity issue. I feel more at your end. So I think let's try to take it forward. Today's discussion is very important from the perspective of crime-free Bharat. And as you
Let's
know,
it forward. Ji, let us move forward.
okay, so crime-free Bharat is a important concept and
Yes,
vision.
let us move forward.
Yeah, crime-free Bharat is a very important concept, and it is providing 5 certainties, 5 revenue streams, and if vision is implemented in properly, then probably it will be having or it will increase per capita income at least by 3 times and multiple increase in GDP. Uh, there are majority of NRIs. They are spread over various countries, and they are having wide experience technology. They have done and achieved a lot of things in technology. They can they are having desire to contribute. They have already achieved a level whereby they can really contribute. My friend Dr. Anup Sarup ji, earlier he was here in Bhopal, Vice Chancellor of Lake University. Now he is based out at Australia. He is a very fit person and a person with the keen desire to contribute for the country. There's some technical problem on at his end, and I don't know what to do because because of the technical reason he has to really opt out, and he has to we have to really I'm looking for his presence because this dialogue is basically more for him. But taking this opportunity till Mr. Dr. Anup ji जो है joins again, I would like to stress upon non-resident Indian spread over various countries. They are the person who can make immense contribution. Those who have already achieved a great height in their own career. They are contributing technologically, socially, economically in various parts of the globe.
Ji,
Now,
can you hear me? Yes.
yeah, I can hear you, but your,
Okay. Yes.
I think, video is off,
In between,
and
yeah, in
probably
between I have lost
bandwidth.
the connection. Ji,
I feel bandwidth on your side is a little poor.
on
So,
my side might be. Ji, हाँ, ji.
yeah, so basically, what I would like that you can be on audio so long
Okay.
as your bandwidth improves.
Yes, yes. I
So,
think we.
Dr. Nurup, I was really talking that how we can really take the NRIs for the crime-free Bharat vision. So, first question I would like to ask from you: how do you appreciate crime-free Bharat, and how do you feel that it is going to impact India? How do you feel about the five certainties, five revenue streams, and its claim that probably it will be tripling per capita income and may be having multiple effect on GDP? So, what is your take on crime-free Bharat mission? What do you understand? What do you visualize? And how we can really take this journey forward?
I know your sincerity and honesty in implementing crime-free Bharat mandate. And as you rightly mentioned, maybe 3 times the GDP we can get, or even more, if we are able to have a crime-free society. And as you rightly mentioned, I had an institution which is a UN affiliate, that is Center for Global Non-Killing, and we have got a mandate to have a world which is killing free, and that includes not only terrorism but also violence of all sorts, and that is so much related to crimes which we see in our societies across the world. So as you rightly mentioned, there is an important role for all the NRIs who are abroad and who have got a lot at stake when it comes to India and having a crime free India. So I really compliment you for having thought of it. So I think this should have a international network so that we can learn from shared experiences abroad. There is so much of capacity building which can be done because there are a whole lot of case studies. When we talk of a crime free India, I am immediately concerned because if it is not crime free, it will not only lead to violence, it not only will lead to killings, but it will lead to economic downturn, which is so much which are perverse when it comes to the poorest of the poor. So I feel you have done a great thing. I should compliment you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, we would like to know that how do you feel how the NRIs are placed? Uh, what do you feel about their skill set? What do you feel about their desire to really contribute? And how the NRIs could play an effective role because they have gone because they found that they are having the better opportunity and they, they were having skill set, desire, and capacity.
Absolutely. You said it right because most of the NRIs, in their heart, they are Indians, of course, and they've got a whole lot of skill sets. Right from IT skills, which you see that India is making waves abroad when it comes to knowledge management, to IT, engineering skills, uh, even education. You can name a field, whether it is automobile manufacturing or robotics, artificial intelligence. There is a whole lot of intelligence which is already there, and Indians abroad are also contributing in a big way to our country, India. So there is a whole lot which can be done in terms of not only uh, bringing about legislative changes, which you have already thought of, because there is so much happening across the globe in every country, from 74 in US. Crimes are, is a big issue because of opportunity countries, and from IT skills, from artificial intelligence, and also from machine learning. There is so much which we can, contribute in making a society which is crime free. At the same time, I want to be very, very careful when it comes to the Orwellian prediction, 1984. I don't want to say that we land up into a society where there is no privacy of citizens, because to achieve crime free society, there has to be improved vigilance. And when it comes to improved vigilance and improved alert, we have to be cautious that we do not infringe on personal liberty, personal freedom, privacy. These security issues are extremely important.
Dr. Anuj Swarup ji, I really appreciate your concern for privacy. इको कुछ आ रही है. I don't know. There's a lot of echo is coming. I get lot of echo is coming. I don't know. Are you on two platform?
No, I'm only on one. Yeah, I'm just on my mobile phone.
Okay, because some echo is coming.
Gee.
And,
earlier I was getting that ego, but now it's not there. I'm okay.
Okay. I don't know how to handle it, because somewhere really it is disturbing. So the point which has been raised by you is very important about the privacy. Lekin, if we talk from Indian point of view, there is something called Atma. So whenever you do something wrong, I don't know. So a lot of echo is creating problem. Anyway, I will try to manage it. There's another way could be to leave and come back. I don't know how it will. Just a minute. Let me try
No,
that.
I'm okay. I can hear you well. Yeah, you carry on.
Okay.
I can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. So basically, what I feel that the privacy has not been rightly stressed, because in Indian culture, when we talk of the privacy, we are also having a mythological figure which is called Chandru. I think I have to do something. I don't know. Is it better?
Yes, much better. Now it is better. Yes.
Okay. So is okay. So echo is still coming.
I'm not getting any echo now. यहाँ पर ठीक है.
Okay, एक minute. How is now?
बिल्कुल perfect. No problem.
एक is it better?
Yes, yes. Much better.
Okay, but in any case, there's some problem at my end, and I am still getting echo.
I think we can carry on. I think I can hear you well.
I think we have to manage like that only.
जी, जी.
Basically, okay. So I really deeply appreciate your point of view on privacy issue, but at the same time, I would like to stress upon it that it is largely Indian philosophy is a little different. If you talk of the mythological figure, that mythological figure is about Chitragupta. So even when we die, Chitragupta is there to give the full account what you have done. So there should be a privacy when it comes to the third party sharing. But when we talk about privacy, more for कुछ something is wrong happening. कहीं से इको तो आ रही है. एक मिनट. हेलो.
हाँ, बिल्कुल ठीक है हमारा. I can hear you well.
अच्छा. नहीं, वो बेसिकली मेरे एंड पे इको आ रही है, जिससे मैं थोड़ा सा अनकंफर्टेबल हो रहा हूँ. मेरी डिलीवरी को कहीं ना कहीं वो अफेक्ट कर रहा है. बट एनीवे, आई थिंक वी हैव टू मैनेज इट. सो Chitragupta mythological figure says that when we die, we have to really somewhere there will be a display of our own video, what we have done during life and how it exactly happened, and so it means whether it's your Atma, whether it's a Chitragupta, somebody is keeping track of it. The only thing need to be done that it should not be shared with the third party. So in our concept, there's something called National Authority for Scientific and Technical Assistance, which is guaranteeing right to privacy. But the right to privacy is not to the Chitragupta. It is not to that this that will be capturing rather everything. It will be capturing your internet protocol, this, that. So even anonymity which is existing on internet, that will also go away. But there will be total guarantee of privacy, because no data will be shared with any third party, and the National Authority for Scientific and Technical Assistance in investigation, it is the responsibility of the authority that nothing should be used for unintended purpose. There is a very stringent law which says even the chairman of the authority, if he use any piece of information other than as intended for the scientific and technical assistance in investigation and detection of the crime, it will be very serious offense, and it will be cognizable, it will be non-bailable, with very difficult bail provision with minimum punishment of 7 years. Even the hackers, even the people, those who are may try to get into say data set, there will be very very strict जो है provision for such people also. So
Yes,
it will be
I do
cognizable offense.
understand.
It will be non-valuable with minimum provision of the 7 years, even for the hackers or other people also. And
I do appreciate.
yeah,
Yes.
and
So,
what we are saying that
Ji,
the internet protocol, which was largely a communication protocol, that will be renegotiated. Hence, it will be capturing everything. And as and when you are say crossing Lakshmana Rekha, there will be very strict action. So uh, I think we would like to really focus more on that. As a president of Crime Free Bharat NRI support group of Australia, what you would like to do for Crime Free Bharat, how you would like to take it forward, what is your message to your fellow NRIs, those who are in Australia, what is your message for the other NRIs, those who are
yes, of
in other part of the country?
Yeah, Natli ji, I'll just take a minute with your earlier argument. Your position is very good. You articulated it well. But let me say this much, that we know what happened with Cambridge Analytica. And there are any number of hackers. Government information is much more prone to hacking than any other information. But leave that argument apart. I know that whatever best arrangements are possible will be done by any of the government, whether it is any foreign country or in India. But still, as a citizen, there is a apprehension. But having said that, I'll come back to, you said Atma, and in India we believe that Atma and Paramatma, that is what make us what we are. And when I talk of Atma and Paramatma, it reminds me of Swami Vivekananda. He said, I am Parama Brahma. That means in each individual is the capacity to become God. Is it not? So I think it's very true, but also it is equally important that we have a society which is crime free, which respects others, and even when it infringes on others' freedom, then of course that freedom can be taken away from an individual. There is no doubt. All the constitutions across the world, and in India we have got the biggest piece of constitution anywhere. So I agree with you on those counts. But I'll come to another important point, and this is a publication which I made about 3 years back in the International Journal of World Peace. And I said that any sort of violence, and this applies to crimes, will be possible not only through amendments, constitution, or the laws, but more importantly through education. And when it comes to education, I spoke of something known as affirmative non-killing. And affirmative non-killing is something which contributes to positive peace. This positive peace is different than normal peace because it is something which has been attained through the will of the people at large. So all our societies, whether it is in India or anywhere in the world, are now combating this vicious uh, problem of terrorism, of violence, of whole lot of other issues. So then it brings us to this point that in our school course curricula have something on value education, so moral education, because only that will bring out individuals who respect others' beliefs, who respect others' freedoms, and that is when we can have a society which is a free society, which is a non-violent society, which is a crime-free society, and which is a non-killing society. So that is our belief. And as you said, the second part of your question, I'll come straight away. Yes, not only here in Australia or in US, because I keep traveling. Our headquarters are in Hawaii, in USA. So Canada, USA, Europe, or Australia, this is an issue which has confronted policymakers for all the time. And that is one of the reasons that here the society is much more disciplined. And when the society is disciplined, we can expect a atmosphere and environment which is crime free. and it's so important that we try and find ways and means how we can promote a crime free society in every country, because crime free society can only bring about economic prosperity, as you mentioned in the beginning. And economic prosperity means GDP which is not three times but many times more than what we have, a equitable distribution of wealth, which is possible only when we have a society which is crime free. Yes, thank you, Matliji.
What do you feel about the role which that as a president of crime free Bharat NRI group of Australia, you would like to play, and how you would like to advise other people to do something on the similar lines?
Okay, thank you for nominating me as the president of crime free here in. We should mention only this much, that there are a whole lot of Indians who are equally concerned, very much concerned. They want to bring about India a change in our own ethos, in our own thinking, in our behavior, so that we can have a world which is friendly. Because Indians abroad are not away from India; they are part of India, and they are more concerned with India than Indians abroad. So all the Indians who are abroad, whether they are in the IT sphere, they can contribute. Whether they are in the brain mapping, or I said we were talking about digital now interface is now the new possible, especially after the pandemic. So it will be a virtual world, a digital world, a new normal, and in a new normal, what is so important is that we should have, uh, I would say, seamless uh, uh, situation where a crime happens, it is reported, and the culprits are immediately brought to justice. And that is possible. Here I was watching a particular case where there was a delay of just 3 weeks, and there was a lot of hue and cry in the media. In India, 3 weeks is nothing. It can be 3 decades. There are 3 crore cases pending in the court. So, first of all, we have to train even our judges, our lawyers, the government attorney. They are least concerned about the condition of our poor, about our have-nots. And it is the poor who always suffers the most. It's not the rich at all. So there is a whole lot of work which has to be done in changing our society, and that change has to start from good education, good value education, good moral education.
Uh,
In Australia, you
I,
know, yeah, yeah, please.
Mhm.
So here in Australia, there is a lot of interest in India, and there is a whole lot of I would say not only a commitment but also support which is available abroad, and they can help not only monetarily but also in knowledge management, in getting the legislation right, also in ensuring that we have a IT support which is machine driven, which is artificial intelligence, where we can bring about a lasting change through brain mapping also. Yes.
yes, I am in really agreement whatever you said, and you rightly mentioned that the time has come when we must dissolve 3.18 crore cases which are pending before judiciary. And Crime
Yes.
Free Bharat is already in the process of developing a technology whereby uh, making use of the present legal provision, uh, we can ensure trial without visiting courts. And this trial would be of a much higher level. It will be more transparent, prompt, efficient, and it could be multi-layer, and it will take away the cost of administration of justice also. So it is going to really change the whole game set. Basically, witness those who are inconvenienced. Uh, Probably we have inherited a kind of a legal system where witnesses are not really being treated with a due respect. Their convenience has not taken into account. Imagine a situation if there is some NRI who is also one of the witness or maybe a complainant or maybe so. By invoking this kind of full trial system, the distance would not be an issue. A person would be in position to depose and give his statement, sitting right in Australia, sitting right in America, and basically, judge will be sitting in his chamber. His PA will also be in his chamber, not in court. And defense lawyer will be in his chamber, prosecution will be in his chamber, and witness would be attending court through the mobile witness center. And this can go to a central place where a majority of witnesses are there, and they can really attend court without visiting court. And then we can come out with the alternate model whereby we can petty offenses could be taken away and they can be resolved making use of the additional courts which may come from the retired person, maybe even you and me, like people, those who are having reasonable understanding of law, they can be then authorized and notified to decide cases. And that's how we can have the legs of courts running in parallel, and deciding 3.18 crore cases would not be a big deal. Probably we would be in position to resolve 3.18 crore cases in the next 2 years. That kind of the system would be making justice available without delay. Can they have justice delayed, justice denied? So, what is your take, and especially keeping NRI perspective in your mind?
Yeah, exactly. So you said it right. There are 2 or 3 issues which I would like to bring it up. One is, of course, justice delayed is justice denied. And in India, in all those 3.8 cases, crore cases, that is the issue. Justice has always been delayed and denied too. But what is my take from here? The police evidence is not always, thrown away to the winds. Police evidence is always taken cognizance of. So it's thought that evidence before a police officer is not admissible in a court of law. That should not be the right go. Number one. Number two, I would say that always in India there is a problem of the defense lawyer and the government attorney getting hand in gloves. And there are no dearth of cases where they get a hand in gloves with even the judiciary. So the ultimate, victim is the poor common man who suffers at the hands of repeated adjournments which keep happening because there is some sort of unholy nexus. So we have to think in those terms. So that is why I was saying that overall we have to think of bring about a culture of change, and that culture of change is possible only through not only through legislation but also through good education, good ethos, good values in the society itself. So that is something which I think we have to think of. Abroad, in most countries, there is a whole lot of change which has happened. The first thing in a school when a kid grows up is a police officer. So that a police officer is always thought that he is a friend. He is actually a friend. A Bobby is a friend. And that is how the society takes him. In India, the police officer is considered to be the first enemy because he has been brought up like that. The society is being brought up like that. And not only the society, I would say individuals. So they're all afraid of the police and they're afraid of courts. Going to courts is and I really appreciate when you say that a virtual trial is possible and would be admissible. Very, very admissible. Whole lot of things can be attained without the witness traveling to far off places, getting the hearing adjourned, and then again going back. There are so many cases. I have friends who say they have been at least not dozen times, but at least 50 times. They have been called to court as a witness. And this is something which is a common practice in India. So, apart from a digital world where there can be a virtual trial, it is very important that we have a culture of change where we respect others. And more importantly, as you rightly mentioned, we have to respect the witnesses. Witnesses are treated with the utmost disdain, which is really a tragedy in our country. So, that is something which has to be achieved fast. And as I said, there is so much to learn from other countries abroad, both or US. But there are other issues which these countries are facing. And one of them, which I mentioned in the beginning itself, is privacy issue, which can always be tackled. But privacy is not that much of a fear in India right now. But it is so important that there has to be a culture in the area. It's so important that we understand that there is something known as individual liberty, individual respect, individual freedom, and above all, human dignity, which is so important. Thank you.
Uh, Dr. Anup, I think when we talk of privacy and when we talk of this kind of things, somewhere there is over stress in favor of allowing the people. They can really take law in their hand and they can do whatever they like, and there is a no responsibility attached. So what I feel, we should not be against capturing of things. We should be against its use, how that information is put to use by the system, within the system, and outside the system. And it should be made very very strict जो है crime, so that we can really take care of the privacy. At the moment when we talk of the privacy, we are creating big system. This creating big system is not really a very good thing. That is
Yes,
really
yes,
really
I
very
agree.
bad.
Those safeguards can always, as you said, safeguards can always be put in place, and privacy it need not be one of the key issue, and especially when it becomes a stumbling block. So I totally agree that it's not that privacy can hijack all other issues. It cannot be, but at the same time we have to be cautious whatever we do, and that is one thing. Second important thing which I personally feel is that the citizen, the private citizen, has to be made aware of his rights, and along with rights, as we know, that it is the duties which come first. So rights and duties are so important, which in India, I think this is where the schools have failed. They have to explain it to individuals that there is a duty for them before the society at large and the country, and that is where we have been failing miserably, and that is one of the reasons that there is a whole lot of issue when it comes to crime, when it comes to violence, when it comes to individuals who break law with breakneck speed. And it is only those who are the haves, they break laws much more, not the poor. I believe it that the poor are basically honest. And at this juncture, I'll also like to make a point. This is a British legacy of not trusting the citizen, not trusting the individual. It's a very bad thing because everywhere in the world, the individual or the citizen is respected. And it's only when he breaks the law comes hard on him. In India, the law never comes hard on anyone. So that is one problem. Second is we do not in India respect the citizen. We do not respect his individual, I would say, authority, his own respect, his own dignity. Dignity is very important to every individual, whether he is poor or rich. That is so important. So there is a cultural change which has to be driven home in India. And on this, as you initially raised this point, what the NRIs can do. Yes, NRIs have a lot because they have learned what is happening abroad. And every time you see what is happening here, you feel so much of disturbance, so much of pain when it comes to our own country, India. And we would like to see that change happen. And here, informally, I have discussed, and people would like to contribute to a crime-free Bharat in any way possible. So we can make a plan and we can move ahead with it, whether it is Australia or Europe or US. We can do it. Thank you.
Great. Basically, there is a problem of perception. There is a problem of implementation. There is not a problem of law. The law, Indian law, is a very powerful law, but salient feature of the law, there has not been. Uh, Public is not really aware of that those provisions. Do you know that each one of us are police officer? Do you know that
Yes,
each
of
person
course.
is having right to arrest? That is the ultimate power.
Yes, but very few would be aware of that. But also true is
Correct.
the fact that an evidence before a police officer is not admissible in a court of law.
So it means if we go by section 39, which gives you the responsibility to convey about a crime, uh, even to assess police and his representative, and the onus of proving innocence lies on the citizen. So that powerful provisions have been made. They are available in institute. That is the part of the section 39 of CRPC. Section 43 of CRPC, it gives the right of arrest to a private person. And the third dimension you said, that is uh, police is on the weaker wicket. So when we talk of the police is on weaker wicket, I really mean to say that whatever has been recorded by the police under section 161, that can only be used for the contradiction, not for the corroboration. Number one. And second thing which you have said, that confession made to the police officer is not admissible. So now you are having another police officer in the name of public, which is having the responsibility to inform, having the responsibility to assist police, and having the power to become police by making an arrest. Now, there is one vacuum which could be implicitly drawn in favor of public, but we can even make explicit provision for that. That is, evidence captured by them could be taken into the system directly, so that it will be having the better understanding in the court of law. And especially if we are providing the evidence capturing technology to them, which we are having, Crime Free Bharat app would be empowering the public so that they can report a crime without going to Thana. They can capture violation of law, violation of rules, and that will be basically encrypted with the date, time, and location. It will be logged with the hash value, and it will be protected with the blockchain technology. And then it will be moving to the competent authority. So the competent authority, the moment it puts a signature, it will become a challan in our terminology, and it will become ticket in your terminology. So the ticket, legally acceptable or legally functional ticket, would be generated through technology. And then the system, since it knows that who is the criminal who has violated the rule, it will go to them. Hey, here is the challan, here is the proof. You can make payment uh, by the various payment option. So they need not to go to anywhere for making the payment. And if they don't do the payment within the time window given to them, the auto notice would be generated to appear before the court of law, and court will be taking care of them. So at present, the biggest problem in, say, Indian bureaucracy, which I feel, whosoever is having the power and authority to do things, he is becoming patronizer for that. So whether it is a police, whether it is a transport, whether it is a excise, whether it is a food, they are really become the patronizer of the people, those whom they are supposed to catch, and they are basically sometime getting money for not doing their legal duty, and that is becoming order of the day. If you recall, earlier posting in EOW or Lokayat, that was largely, treated as a side posting, and people don't used to go. Nowadays, there is a very big line to go in these departments. That same is thing true for the excise and transport and food and other things. So wherever there is a authority to capture violation, there is a rush not to do the job, but to get the money for not doing it. That is the big
Exactly.
reason. So if the person, those who are supposed to do, they are not going to do it, why the responsibility of the capturing evidence should be made available to the public? The legal responsibility they are already having. Now providing the technology so that they can discharge the legal responsibility which has been bestowed on them. They are already having that legal responsibility. Now allow them the mechanism, allow them the technology so that they can play a very constructive role. And if they are getting revenue stream out of it, then they will be having the incentive to capture. And when 137 or 38 crore people would be watching anything, and a number of the CCTVs and IoT devices would be watching things, then nothing is going to be unnoticed. How do you react to it?
Very good. So let me, yeah, I compliment you for bringing about this initiative and bringing about that change which India was looking forward to. I agree with you that we need a whole lot of change, whether it is the Criminal Procedure Code, you mentioned Section 39, Section 43, or the Indian Evidence Act. There's a whole lot of amendment which is necessary. The CRPC, IPC, the Indian Evidence Act, and even the Constitution. Because see, the problem we face is that we have already formed the attitude that the person is not uh, uh, he is not to be believed, he is not to be trusted. That mistrust has come as a British legacy, which has to be done away with. It is the citizen who has to be empowered, and the citizen will become empowered only when we are in a position to really make a change in our laws so that they become conducive, they become considerate, they are not a bottleneck. So as of now, as you said, you were talking about Lok Ayukta position or a whole lot of these positions. The most important incentive which people get there is to sit tight, do nothing, and get money. So that is a lure to corruption. So that is what is happening in our society today. So there is a whole lot of incentive when it comes to doing nothing, when it is about corruption, but there is no incentive when it comes to honesty. Because as you rightly said in the beginning, a witness has no respect at all. He is treated like dirt, not only by the judiciary but by the police also, to whom he is assisting assistants. And then you have so many cases where the witness, he goes back. So there is absolutely no justice. That is one problem which we face in our society today. And that is why I said we have to bring about a cultural change in the milieu in which we work. And that is possible only through good education, good ethos. And also in bringing about legislative changes. You said digital evidence is now admissible. That is one thing which has been very, very positive, which has come out. We should take the best, make the best out of the new technology which is emerging. And this emerging technology can be a great leveler when it comes to our society. It can bring about justice and it can bring about sanity and promptness equally well. That is so important for our world. So I totally agree with you. In fact, Crime Free Bharat is an initiative, a movement which is to be holistic in its approach. apart from the amending laws, it is very important that we make a change in our perception of the society at large about our civilizational values. And as you said, in India, in fact, India is inherently a very disciplined society. Our glorious past speaks of it. The only problem is post independence. We have faced a lot of problems. During the British Raj, we had a lot of problems. And even before that, for a couple of years. So, what I feel is that now we should think in holistic terms to bring about a change. And the change should be holistic, should be complete. Thank you so much for Crime Free Bharat, Madhviji.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you, Anupji, and the people like you. And I am really very happy to inform that now a lot of NRI chapters they have already started functioning, and
yes,
we would be really spreading into the other part of the globe. Very soon we will be having in Europe, UK, and other places, and let Indians, wherever they are, they might be sitting, they are having the keen interest to really contribute for the development, for making country prospers. And at the same time, because they are inherently somewhere connected by heart, they might have accepted even the citizenship of the other country, but inherently at the soul level, they are still Indian. They observe rituals, they observe and they very keenly follow what is happening in India, and they would like to contribute for the prosperity, for basically for increasing the respect of Indians across the globe. It should not happen that say OTP crime or other crime, the people sitting over here now they have started targeting the citizens, senior citizen elsewhere in USA and other places. That kind of the option should not be happen. Basically, what I feel, these cyber crime, they are happening on account of our incapacity, our desire not to take cognizance. Because now you imagine these the whosoever is committing cybercrime, whether they are sending that you have won lottery or they are making call for OTP, or now a number of the things are happening. Somebody is saying that this much amount has come to your account, those kind of the things. So they are using a number of the lure tactics, and that kind of the SMS is being sent across the everybody, you and me, the people are also receiving that kind of the messages.
yes,
Now those kind of the messages, they itself form a crime, because it is an attempt. It is attempt to commit and to cheat you and to take away your money. And in Indian law, it is a crime. So all such crime should be taken cognizance. We can enable that instead of making in the name of awareness, let's not create fear in citizen. I am of very considered view that whenever this kind of the mail comes, we enter into dialogue. So when we say don't share OTP, our revised dialogue should be share a wrong OTP. Don't share your CVV. So our dialogue should be share a wrong CVV, and maintain a dialogue and collect all evidences, screenshots, and push it to the police through the Crime Free Bharat app. And the app at the background will make it sure police is having no other option but to register the offense. Otherwise, it will invoke the power of SP. It will take the case to the SP under Section 154(3). Even if SP fails to give the response, it will take it to the court, concerned court under 156(3). And even if the court fails, in extraordinary cases, we can even take the recourse of the Section 482 for the High Court. And if required, we can take it under the PIL to Honorable Supreme Court. Because it is a contempt also. Because you must have heard about the Lalita Kumari versus State of UP. And
yes,
Honorable Apex Court has given sequential 5-6 decisions, and the sum total of those decisions is this: that if your report discloses a cognizable offense, police is having no other option but to register crime. Now, this indiscretion of not registered crime is creating a problem. When under Section 39, I am legally bound to report a cognizable offense. And for not reporting that crime, even I could be prosecuted under the same Section 139 of CRPC. Then how it could be pleasure of police? My legal responsibility cannot be the pleasure of the police.
Very
Just
well said. In fact, I entirely agree with you, and that is one of the reasons I have always felt that FIR should be accepted even on email, even on letter. Even the Supreme Court has, been accepting public interest litigation through letters. So there is a whole lot of change which is required in our mindsets. You've said it
uh,
right. Yes.
I agree with you. Basically,
Ji.
we have to provide a technology so that indiscretion should not have a place. So, why anybody need to go to the Thana? It is not that email should be accepted. I am saying a proper FIR could be created, making use of the technology, and that technology has already
Yes.
been developed by us. Now,
Yes. Yes. Very true.
now the system would be creating FIR. It will be identifying which sections are to be applied. Those sections will be applied. Then and there, it will allow you to put your signature, legally acceptable signature. And then the app will take it to the competent authority to put their signature. If by any reason they are having some reason not to register, then they have to write reasons for that. With reasons or without reason, it will take to SP, because under 154(3), SP is having very original power. Say whether it is a IG, DIG or DG, everybody, they are having indirect power, not original power. That indirect power, it flows from the Section 36. That the power that all supervisory officer, they can use the inherent power of SHU. But here under Section 154(3), it is not a power of SHU. It is original power of SP. And in the whole law, it is the SPs alone is having that original power. Now, there's a general problem. Public says that we write something with somebody and my complaint is being sent to the same person. Yeah, we already reported to the Thana and Thana is not taking cognizance. When we are approaching senior officer, they are sending it to the same SHO and he is bent on not taking cognizance. So, the SP can give it to either he can do it himself or he can give it to any of his subordinate. That subordinate need not be from the same Thana. And the moment such nomination is being made under Section 154(3), that person will get the power of SHO. So SP can give, I hereby invoke the power given under Section 154(3). I entrust the investigation of this case to Head Constable Ram Kumar Singh, right? Then Head Constable Ram Kumar Singh would be having the power of SHO of the concerned Thana. And this Havaldar need not to go to the Thanedar.
I agree entirely. And that is why there is a strong reason that we should ensure that the police should be going to the schools, telling the children what they are, and they are a friend of the people at large. That is so important. And as you said, this original power with the SPs is something which is, but the common public doesn't know most of it. So they have to be educated. So that education is very, very important. That capacity building has to go into civil itself. And as you earlier agreed, can be lodged online. Why do we need a person to go to a thana? A thana is always so much dreaded. A police inspector sitting, SHO sitting in the thana is very much dreaded by the outside public. So this is where, crime-free Bharat can bring about a revolution in our country by bringing out those apps which can accept a FIR, and that FIR has to be taken cognizance of suo motu. That is so important. Yes.
I am in total agreement with you, but with a little prayer. What I feel,
Yes.
why do we expect the police should go to school? Why this responsibility cannot be done by the citizen at large, by the other intellectuals? Why they should not go and address? Why the NGO should not go and address? Why it should not be the part of curriculum so that they are really understand these nuances? Because, but I very strongly feel that in India, lot of things have been hidden from the public eye, and very conscious effort has to be made that rather than making a wizard, the person know what are the basic things they should know. So those things could be made the part of the syllabus. They could be the part of basically we are deliberating on useless issues and day in and day out, and so those kind of the things could be really, instead of that, if we start focusing on debate on this kind of the topics, probably it will be very informative. But again, there's a problem that media is under so many industry houses, and they are having their own dictate, they are having their own vision. Probably they are being influenced by the people, those who can influence them. And now it has been said that probably they cannot utter even a word without the concurrence of the people, those who are controlling them. So, and that's why you can say that the media houses, which are their owners are on the one side of the people or other side of the people, you can see that is being reflected in the debate over those channels. So that kind of that real role of the media to serve as a fourth pillar of democracy, that is diminishing. That is now, I think the social media can also play a role, and NGOs through the social media by directly visiting, influencing that by doing lobbying, influencing the public policy, law, and its execution, and the technocrats should join hand like a crime-free Bharat mission, which will be changing the whole scenario, and it will be addressing all issues, because the crime-free Bharat is not talking of only crime-free Bharat. It is not only talking of the five certainties. It is not only talking of the five revenues. It is not only talking of that NRI, that per capita income will be 3 times or more. It may be even 10 times. But it is talking of the 16 more Bharat, job and services rich Bharat. Why we should not create hundreds of patents, hundreds of startups? Because we have to realize there's a change in habit. Now the people, they instead of taking knowledge and understanding and assimilating and then making use of it, now everybody is in a kind of a situation where everybody wants the things in a product format. So I think the technology startup can give them in a product format, and we can really chase not only that crime-free Bharat, but we can really make it very healthy and very wealthy nation. It is doable, and when we accomplish this for the country, then we can think of the globe also, because uh, essentially it is a energy. So if the say your neighboring country, they are not peaceful, they are hungry, then probably it will have some negative impact on you also, because whole globe is very intricately connected at the energy level. The old mindset that कि साहब हम अपने यहाँ जो है ना दूसरी जगह पे जंगल काट लेंगे और हमारे यहाँ का एनवायरनमेंट अच्छा बना रहेगा, पहले जो पुरानी इस तरह की कुछ कुछ देशों की ये सोच थी, अब वो उन्होंने रियलाइज कर लिया है कि नहीं, होल ग्लोब इज सो इंट्रिकली कनेक्टेड कि यदि आप कोई डैमेज इकोलॉजी में, एनवायरनमेंट में किसी दूसरे पार्ट में करेंगे, इट विल बी हैविंग रिफ्लेक्शन ऑन देम आल्सो, say thousands of kilometers apart. So the distance is now it is a non-consequential basically. So now we are talking not only of the environment, I am talking of the energy. यदि मैं दुखी होऊंगा, यदि हमारा पड़ोसी दुखी होगा, तो उसकी जो नेगेटिव एनर्जी है, that will be somewhere impacting at the energy level, the well-being on the other side also.
Yes.
नेचर ने हर चीज इतनी अबंडेंस में दी है scarcity is being made by us because we want to make business out of it. Otherwise नेचर में कोई भी कमी नहीं है. उसने तो जो है ना आपको पानी अबंडेंस में दिया हुआ था. हमने जो है ना स्कैर्सिटी क्रिएट करके उसको बॉटल में भर दिया. उसने आपको ऑक्सीजन दी हुई है, कुछ समय बाद हम लोग ऑक्सीजन का सिलेंडर लेके चलने लगेंगे. सो दिस सिचुएशन वी आर क्रिएटिंग. नेचर तो हर चीज अबंडेंस में दिया है और हमारा भी प्रयास होना चाहिए कि लेट्स क्रिएट एवरीथिंग इन अबंडेंस. हम जितना बांटेंगे उतना जो है ना वो प्रफुल्लित होगा, फलीभूत होगा. सो ये सोचना कि हम जो है ना हमारे लिए सब कुछ हो जाएगा तो वो काम नहीं चलेगा. हमारी फैमिली के लिए हो जाएगा तो भी नहीं चलेगा, हमारे गांव को हो जाएगा तो भी नहीं चलेगा, फिर हमारे देश का होगा तो भी नहीं चलेगा. सो वसुंधरा कुटुंबम जो हमारी सनातन धर्म कहता है, हमें पूरे दुनिया को जो है ना ये ग्लोब जो है एक उस नजरिए से देखना होगा. एंड क्राइम फ्री भारत जो है इज हैविंग दैट काइंड ऑफ फीलिंग बिकॉज द क्राइम फ्री भारत का नेक्स्ट स्लोगन रहेगा क्राइम फ्री ग्लोब. क्योंकि यदि जो चीज भारत को जो है ना अपराध मुक्त कर सकती है वो दूसरे देशों को भी अपराध मुक्त करेगी. तो why that only the country India should be benefited? So since it is being conceived in India, hence we are talking of the crime free Bharat. But when it is reasonably done over here, I think it will be adopted by the rest of the world also. If it is doable, it should be done. And probably
Maithili ji, I agree with you totally. And it is also the other way around. India should learn a lot from rest of the world too. When you talk of Vasudev Kutumbakam and the whole world is one family, we should be learning a lot, which we are not doing as of now. And the Western society has changed phenomenally over the years. And it's no more a society which was in the industrial age. This age is different. And I can see that difference here. Now, you know what makes news? If somebody's dog is lost, that makes news. If the police chases a youngster and if he dies in a crash, that makes news because it is felt that why did the police chase at all? So there is a whole lot of different revolution which has already taken place in these countries. I would entirely agree. But as you rightly said, our neighbor, whether it is China or Pakistan, they have to be happy. They have to be, we have to take care for them. There is a whole lot of, there is something known as a silent war. Silent war is already on, the covert war. And that is also one of the reasons that mobs are incited. There are a whole lot of, civil rightists who are, just fighting for some right for no reason at all. That is why in the beginning I was mentioning about duties. Duties and rights go together. It's not only rights alone. So I would say what Professor Harold Lutsky, he mentioned that eternal vigilance is the cost of democracy. So you have to be eternally vigilant. And you rightly mentioned that it is the civil society, the common citizen, the NGOs, who have to be as much vigilant because they are as much a police officer as the police official himself. So there is so much to be done in our country, and this should start from the schools through good schooling. And they should understand that police is their friend and they are themselves a police. And they can also control, they can bring about discipline in the society. You must have seen that Indians abroad are the most respected and most disciplined, I would say, communities anywhere. So there is something which is inherently good in the Indian civilization. And this is what we can not only bring abroad, but also we can inculcate in India itself. So I totally agree with you, but we need a comprehensive action plan. And with the emerging technology post pandemic, you rightly said we can develop apps. These apps can, uh, facilitate, can be an enabler, can be conducive to bring about a crime-free Bharat, which can be done easily. And not only these artificial intelligence based apps, but also something which is machine learning. I was mentioning about mapping. It is happening elsewhere. Your brain can, tell you so much. And people are adopting to new different discourses, new methods, new technologies to bring that change. And that change is happening here and now. So let me compliment you again And I'm sure this initiative of yours will bring about a revolution. It will bring about a revolution. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you. But when we are talking of world peace, when we are talking of Vasundhara Kutumbam, there's a word of caution. Because see, you look at our God and goddesses, though they are giving
Yes.
blessings and everything, but each one of them, they are armed with some weapon, some sastra. So basically, what we are saying, anything is said by a weak person, it would be of no consequence. So when you talk with the authority. You should have the Shastra and Shakti with you. If you are
Exactly.
devoid of if you are devoid of that Shakti, आपका बच्चा ही भी आपकी बात नहीं सुनेगा. आपका जो है ना लोग बाग ही आपकी बात नहीं सुनेंगे. So whatever you talk, there should be Shakti, energy in it, and there should be nobody should be in position to treat the country like a banana state. At present,
Yes.
country is really becoming banana state. A few days back, I was looking at Honorable Prime Minister's app, and
Yes.
one I think must be a young chap. Literally, he was abusing Honorable Prime Minister. He was using very filthy language against the Prime Minister. Is it not a
I'm
crime?
amazed. And that is where I feel there is a covert war which is going on against India. Because in no country, even in America, where President Trump is known for his, different ways, there they respected the president for his position as a president. In our country, I have seen that we do not respect even the prime minister. Now he has been elected by the
Uh,
majority. We should accept his word, which is not happening, which is very unfortunate. And that is why I say that there is a covert war. This is incited covert war. And even
say
the most
you said
important thing
you
is to, yeah, the culprits are really the politicians themselves. The opposition parties, why can't they sit quiet and do some public service for the time being? If everything is
uh,
wrong, you'll not allow the prime minister to work, then how will any change happen in our country? In fact,
very
I've
true.
been talking here abroad about the way India has controlled the pandemic. And that credit goes not only to the ruling party but also to the opposition parties. They worked in unison. The civil society worked so well, even an advanced country like UK, where there are more than 1,500 and 2,000 deaths a day, where the infections has much above India, and there they are not able to control. In India, we have done it. Being illiterate, being poor, being so much of disarray when it comes to one brickmanship, we have done it. So it is quite possible, and we have to appreciate. Even there, we are not being appreciated. That is something which is very sad in our country. And whatever is projected abroad in the media, whether it is BBC or CNN or Fox, uh, it is all negative. Something happens in Syria and they show it as if it is happening in Kashmir. Something happens elsewhere, they color it. So we have to be vigilant. And I quoted Harold Lasky, eternal vigilance is the cost of democracy. That is what we have to face. And you rightly
Uh,
said that we are a country which has to evolve, which has to change, and which has to see a revolution happening. It can be done through individuals like you, and you have made it happen through the Crime Free Bharat initiative. Let me compliment you
अनूप जी
again and again.
अनूप
Thank
जी
you.
थैंक यू
Yeah.
थैंक यू. अनूप जी, मेरा दूसरे डायमेंशन के बारे में कहना था. जो आपने कहा वो बिल्कुल सटीक कहा है. बट आई एम
See,
सेइंग कि यदि इतनी फिल्थी लैंग्वेज यूज हो रही है, व्हाट इज वेदर इट इज ए क्राइम अंडर सेक्शन 294 और नॉट.
it is definitely a crime.
Why a legal course of action is not being taken?
That is the
Why
tragedy
the
in the name
person
of
is
freedom
not being.
of speech. See, Article
नहीं,
14, Article
freedom of
19, Article
using the
21 of the
filthy language and
Constitution,
offensive
they
language
are
is
more
not a
misused than
freedom
being
of
used.
speech.
Yes, I agree with you. Nobody thinks about the feelings of a majority of Indians who have elected the current prime minister. If somebody is speaking filthy language against him, it is hurting everybody's sentiments, and they should be taken to the court. But here again, in the name of freedom of speech, we give them that freedom, which is nowhere there in the world.
I am saying very simple thing. this app and this information when can be seen by the world at a large, then I am very sure
Yes,
the administrator must be looking at those comments. Why it is not being reported and registered and a proper and balanced action is taken against the person so that he should
yes,
start behaving like a responsible citizen. ये तो अनार्की है। यदि देश के प्राइम मिनिस्टर को भी कोई ऐसी
anarchy.
ऑफेंसिव भाषा गाली लिख सकता है जो कि 294 में आईपीसी में ऑफेंस है, एंड इफ सच पर्सन इज गोइंग अनपनिश्ड, देन व्हाट विल बी द फेट ऑफ नॉर्मल सिटीजन? आई वेरी स्ट्रांगली
That is
फील
the case. That is the case. Totally agree. And 294 may, if that offense is not being registered, I think it is the jurisdictional police officer who has to take the initiative. If not, then at least a court, so moto they can take cognizance, which is not happening there.
why there should not be one
Yes.
NGO or n number of NGOs? They should look for the content. The public figures, they are talking anti-constitutional thing. So if they are themselves the government, then should it not be construed as a breakdown of constitutional machinery? Why? Whether it should not
is.
be considered as a failure of constitutional machinery. Say if government of India has enacted certain act, how a chief minister can say that I will not implement it?
Yes.
The moment a constitutional figure he says I won't implement it, then he is violating the constitutional arrangement given in the constitution. And since he is violating
See,
and
I
publicly
agree
is
with you,
uttering,
and here we come to a little, I would say we go beyond our mandate today. But my fear and feeling is that the foreign intelligence machinery within India has taken some very deep roots, and that is one of the reasons that they go much, much beyond, because a normal human being will not feel so much anguished. The sort of a language they are using, that is why I feel that maybe foreign intelligence is, masterminding the media in the country, and that is how things are happening. It is a sort of a anarchy which is happening in India. They want to divide India by 1,000 cuts, which is happening now.
डॉक्टर साहब मेरा कहना ये है कि whosoever behind the person, right? For some time, let's forget who is behind. But the face which is uttering, he is doing illegal things. He is doing unconstitutional. And if he is sitting under in a constitutional post, why Article 356, which is the part of the Constitution, should not be invoked? Number one, right? Number two, if he is committing some crime, why the cognizance and prosecution should be taken? So if you are in habit of uttering something which is utterly illegal or unconstitutional, and if you have done it 1,000 times without any apprehension, without any fear, why 1,000 cases should not be registered against you if you are uttering things which are illegal in nature, and without any, you should explain that you have not done illegality. Because if the such
I agree,
person,
I agree. And
यदि such
yes,
person would be say facing 1,000, if the
yeah,
such
that
person will be
baffles
facing,
me. It surprises me why no action was being taken. And we should also punish those who are responsible for taking action if they are putting a blind eye to it.
बट वो सैया भाई कुतवाल डर किस बात का वाला बात हो रहा है कि वो जो है को किसी की ताकत से बैठे हुए हैं, इलेक्शन ना करने के लिए भी कहीं से इशारा है। तो ये इशारों का जो कहानी कब तक चलती रहेगी, ये लौकी कहानी कब चालू होगी?
Yes, I agree. So, we all studied about the highest common factor and the lowest common denominator, LCD. In our country, we are driven and ruled by the LCD, the lowest common denominator. And that is one of the reasons that you are talking about that filthy language from political netas coming out. In most cases, nobody is really worried what they say, what they utter. What is so important is by the highest common factor, HCF. In America or here in Australia or in Europe, they are driven by HCF. Only the best will rule them. Why should we go down to the level of the lowest? in ruling them? That I have never understood. And that is why I said there should be a minimum age bar when it comes to state legislatures, when it comes to the federal legislature. It has to be through a minimum education. We are not really respecting our intellectuals at all. We are running after politicians, and these politicians are, driven only by their money motives or by their only self-interest. A country has to evolve only when we have got the highest common factor. A huge country like India, more so than anybody else. And that is why I have been talking about affirmation of a non-killing, non-violent, no crime process, which can be done through change. And that change has to be a reformist, revolutionary change. And that is why I compliment you. I have complimented you again and again. And this is a great move you have
Right,
made. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Yeah.
Basically, Anup ji, the last observation which I would like to give, I am in 200% agreement whatever you said, right? Without any difference of opinion. But to begin with, because those changes would not be taking place. So, if anything is an offense under the present law, why NGO and everybody should not, after that authorities to take cognizance and creating a kind of factual things so that we can make our authority more accountable. They are having this power for implementing it truthfully, transparently, and accountably. It cannot become his a pleasure or discretion. I mean that, and the
Sure.
pleasure and discretion has to be used for the law, not against the law. I feel that all Indian citizen, all NRIs, everybody should जो है join hand to make it happen, and it has to be, say, it cannot be done by taking individual cases. अब एक निर्भया कांड हो गया, मोमबत्ती जला के जो ना कर दिया, फिर कोई दूसरा बड़ा कांड हो गया तो कर लिया. It should not be like that. I am saying if we can do it for each and every case without जो है ना getting emotionally involved. Let our जो है CFB should capture it. Let it be taken to Thana. If the Thana is failing, let it be taken to SP. If SP is failing, then 156(3), let's take to the judicial magistrate. Even if he is failing, to take it to 482, and even if required, we can take it to the PIL if it is not happening. But we must not जो है सर्क our responsibility and living की education करेंगे, फलाना करेंगे. Let the present law must become functional, and let a body should work for the individual. Individual will always be weak. जैसे यदि हम बैंक में लोन लेने जाते हैं, वो जो भी एग्रीमेंट बनाता है, यदि वो अनफेयर भी है तो जो लोन लेने वाला है उसको साइन करने के अलावा कोई विकल्प नहीं है. इसलिए रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी बनाई जा रही है कि जो एग्रीमेंट की कॉपीज हैं उनको वो एग्जामिन करें, सो दैट इट शुड बी इक्विटेबल टू बोथ द पार्टीज. सो सिमिलरली हियर आल्सो इंडिविजुअल इज इन वीक फुटिंग. लोग बाग उसको छोटी सी चीज में जो है ना भगा देते हैं. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अभी एक लड़का है जो कि क्राइम फ्री भारत पे काम कर रहा था, उसका मोबाइल गया वहां, तो उस थाने वाले ने कहा साहब इसकी IMI लेके आइए. उसने मुझसे बात की कि सर वो IMI मांग रहे हैं. तो हमने कहा कि IMI की क्या जरूरत है, 3 दिन की CDR ले लें और उससे जो है ना IMI निकल आएगी और बाकी सब चीजें भी निकल आएंगी. फिर फॉर्चुनेटली उसको IMI मिल गई और द पुलिस इज डूइंग ए गुड जॉब. आई थिंक विद इन 2 or 2 जो है ना उसका मोबाइल भी बरामद हो जाएगा. देन दे वर सेइंग कि मोबाइल थेफ्ट. So that person was returning to his house, and 6 लोगों ने चाकू के दम पे जो है ना उससे मोबाइल छुड़ाया, चाकू की नोक पे, और वो 5-6 लोग थे. तो भाई ये चोरी कैसे हो गई? ये तो डकैती हुई ना, क्योंकि 5 से ज्यादा लोग हैं तो डकैती हो गई है. बल का यूज किया है, चाकू का यूज किया हुआ है. सो आई फील दैट not applying the law properly. After my intervention, लूट का केस रजिस्टर हुआ, 392 IPC का केस रजिस्टर हुआ. सो आई अगेन स्पोक कि भाई 392 क्यों हुआ, ये तो 395 हुआ। बोला सर अभी अपन ने 392 लगा लिया है, जब 4 से ज्यादा लोग पकड़ में आ जाएंगे तो उसको जो है ना अपने आप डकैती में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा। सो देयर कुड बी जो है ना अनदर वे ऑफ अप्लाइंग लॉ। एक तो ये है कि जब सब 5 से ज्यादा पकड़ में आ गए तो डकैती बन गया, या जब वो बता रहा है कि सब 6-7 लोग थे तो पहले से ही डकैती रजिस्टर करते। आई लीव इट टू द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द ऑफिसर्स, but still I will appreciate the police officers, those who have taken cognizance. I would like to जो है really appreciate the Delhi police. They have done very promptly. Then I spoken to the IO and I gave him the whole thing what he was supposed to do it, and I really appreciate that he has noted down everything and now everything is being done. And I am very sure not only this case, but even if the 100 case has been committed by the gang, they will all be detected. Now we should use the technology in this way कि एक भी कोई भी क्रिमिनल यदि रडार में आता है और उसने यदि 1000 किए हैं तो वो एक तो छोड़ो 1000 के 1000 पकड़ में आना चाहिए। एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी से कि इन क्राइम फ्री भारत स्ट्रेटेजी हम उन केस को भी डिटेक्ट कर पाएंगे जो फरियादी ने रिपोर्ट ही नहीं किया है या रिपोर्ट करने पर रजिस्टर नहीं हुआ है। That is the power which crime free Bharat strategy or
Yes,
vision
yes, of course. But Maithili ji, my only point is, it also points to a deep nexus of complicity in our civil society itself between the police officials. Because the case which you narrated, I faced similar cases, and I found those guys, they never got justice. Even now, they are struggling for a small amount. A poor fellow, his 20,000 rupees lost through cyber crime from his bank account. He couldn't recover that amount. He was running from pillar to post, from cyber crime thana to another thana to third thana, and still nothing has happened. I am amazed at the lack of. So I totally agree with you that we can ensure that the law takes, the enforcement happens. Implementation law is very strict, but that is not really happening. And that is why I was talking of education, of having a change in our own ethos, in our own perceptions. So it is not only the police force which has to be educated, but also the civil society and mostly the politicians. So thank you so much. A real pleasure. And we'll be in touch again. Let us again keep exchanging our notes. I really appreciate
so
your movement.
at
It will bring about a solution.
thank you, Dr. Anup. You always had been a source
Thank
of
you so
strength to
much.
us. I take this opportunity to once again thanking you for accepting post of the president of Crime Free Bharat NRI support group.
Thank you.
You
Thank you
always
so
have
much.
been a great supporter and great source of strength to us. I would like कि you will become our messenger to the other NRIs, not only in Australia but into the other part of the globe, and
Yeah,
let the
Europe and
joint
US
might
also.
of everyone should come in favor of the crime-free Bharat for the betterment of the citizen. Let's create a responsible, transparent, efficient, and accountable system where justice should be guaranteed. So we should not limit ourselves to the lower dimension like registration of the crime, detection of the crime, conviction of the crime. Rather, we should talk of the delivery of justice and delivery of the prompt justice. So I
Thank
pray
you.
that should happen,
Most certainly.
and I pray to the everybody whosoever is sitting in any part, NRI and non-NRI, whosoever is having consonance, whosoever is having the similar thinking, let's join hand to make it happen. We will do it first in Bharat, and then we will extend it beyond the globe. And I am really grateful for you having spared your valuable time. And we will continue our dialogue. And I am very sure the technical hiccup which has taken place, I really apologize for that. And I hope in future session there will be more smooth session so that everybody would be benefited. And once again, thank you very much from the side of the Crime Free Bharat. Now you are part of us, and we want each and everybody should be part of it so that we should make it a reality in a year's time. Let's pray to the Honorable Prime Minister. Let's pray to the Honorable Home Minister that they should give the time to the crime-free Bharat mission. We will make a presentation to them. We do not need their money, but certainly we need their blessings, because whatever the legal framework, whatever the notification for revenue flow has to be done, it has to be done by the government. And when it is going to benefit this country to this extent, when it is going to change the face and fate of this country, I am very sure our Honorable Prime Minister, our Honorable Home Minister, those who are already having so much high commitment, they have depicted and demonstrated through the various decisions. I am very sure this crime-free Bharat will attract their attention, and sooner or later, it will be adopted and implemented for the larger benefit of the country, for changing the face and fate of this nation. Namaskar. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Namaskar.